Spectacular with Norma V. Thank you so much for being here. And I am so, my God, beyond words because I have my good friend that is an author, and I'm going to have him present himself because this is like a long thing to say and I don't want to mess it up, all right? That's the thing. So,
all right, so
go for it.
Hi, I'm Jeff Pantanella, and I have written an epic fantasy book series which is entitled The Hero Saga.
See,
it's a lot of words.
That's a lot of words. My mind can't work right now. I'm like, But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is a wonderful
opportunity. You know, we go way beyond.
Yeah,
long time ago, right? 12 years.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
See, things go around and around and around. That's why be nice to everybody because you never know when you're going to go full circle.
That's right.
Right?
Good point.
Yeah.
Really good point. Yeah.
I would tell my kids, be nice to everybody because you never know who's behind or who's listening to you.
That's right. Never burn those bridges.
Never, never, never. But anyways, I am so excited that you're here.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I haven't seen you forever.
I know.
You know, it was so funny because I was just like, okay, I follow you on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You know, now social media is the thing to do, right? So I started following you because I know that you wrote these 4 books, this series,
right?
And I am a sucker. Can you tell? I drew stuff like this just because of.
Yeah, she looks great. She looks like one of the characters in the books.
Because I wanted to look just like one of the characters on the book.
Right.
And I was thinking, okay, Jeff Pantanella is gonna be on our show. So what can I do to look like one of the heroes so he can cast me?
Yeah, right. But I think she's gonna be a villain. I think we're gonna put her as a villain.
I'm auditioning for him right now.
Yeah. Right.
In character.
Right.
No, but I think villains are pretty fun.
If they're written the right way, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you come up with this crazy idea? Okay. Let's go back 12 years behind, so then we can start. So they understand where you're coming from because you are a very talented person. You went to tell us your story.
Okay. So I went to the Rhode Island School of Design, which is a big art school on the East Coast, and then after that, after graduating with a Bachelor's of Fine Art, I then received what's called the Guggenheim Fellowship to travel and live in Italy, Venice, Italy.
Hablas italiano?
I used to.
Un poquito.
Yeah.
No, hablas italiano,
and that's Spanish.
Spanish. But you know, they talk with their hands.
Yeah, parlo italiano.
Parlo italiano.
Yeah. So when I was in Italy, I made some really great connections, just like this one, and they said, hey, when you return to the States, why don't you come to California and start your art career there? And I thought, all right, great. So where are you in California? And they were in San Francisco. So when I left Venice, I moved to San Francisco and I started doing advertising work while I was swinging cappuccinos and doing whatever you can do to survive in San Francisco, right? And from that, I met some really interesting people that eventually got me to be living on a dry dock ferry boat in Sausalito.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
And what's cool about them is they were the pioneers of virtual reality.
No way.
Yeah. And so from that, I transitioned into doing animation work for video games.
Okay. Yeah, I knew you were a video maker.
Yeah. And then from there, one thing led to another, and I was doing interface design for a company called Replay TV, which was the beginning of the DVR technology. And I know it's just who knows what any of the stuff is anymore.
Who remembers DVR?
Right. All right, so let me just kind of jump forward.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be that. But I mean, that's been like how long ago?
This is late 1990s,
well,
early 2000s.
It wasn't that long ago.
Well, so then I got into real estate, which is where we met each other, and I was in real estate for about 17 years, and eventually had my own brokerage. But you know what? It was destroying my soul.
Okay, so let me just say, when I found out that you left real estate.
Yeah.
And went to write books, and I'm like, is he out of his
mind?
But I get it,
Yeah.
because I'm still doing real estate, but I'm so in love with acting and, this entertainment world.
Yeah.
And you have to be in love, I have so many guests in the show, and I always ask them, what is it that you think that is going to take the people to go where they want to go? And they're like, you have to love what you do.
Right.
Because if you don't, forget about it.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. I mean, the money was great in real estate.
Well,
and,
I'm doing this because of real estate.
Yeah. And so, building up an identity as an agent and as a broker, that all had a lot of seductive qualities to it, but it really wasn't what I wanted to do. And I was never really great at sitting in people's living rooms or at their kitchen table and yep.
Yeah, selling yourself.
Yeah, it just was, and after a while I was like, God, if I keep going this route, I'm gonna look back on my life and I'm gonna say, you know what, Jeff? You had all this stuff going on creatively and you wasted your life.
Yeah.
Because you did what you thought you were supposed to do to be successful.
Yeah, because you were always involved in art.
Yeah.
And then you got into real estate,
Right.
and then you went back to your art.
Right. I had like everyone, I had a meltdown and just decided,
Oh, this is not me.
it's not. No, I couldn't do it. I functioned, but I couldn't love it. Yeah.
Kudos to you. Kudos to you because you had the guts to do it.
That's a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah.
Because I know how real estate life can be and how
The grind.
the gratification. Well,
Yeah.
not only that,
Yeah.
but the gratification that comes behind it.
Right.
And yes, you don't know when your next paycheck is coming from,
Right.
and from sometimes making a ton of money and then going into writing books and that can be pretty daunting.
Yeah. It was a leap, and one of the things that actually I learned from a really amazing real estate coach was, listen, Jeff, you're always going to have these great great ideas.
Right,
Like everyone has great ideas, but what happens is we become very fearful of moving on those ideas. And what he told me was, he said, listen, you got 5 great ideas, pick one and then jump. And that's,
So you became a kid again.
You know what? That's a great way to say it because, I had to decide, okay, I'm going to leave the fear behind of, the what if, and I'm just going to start to play with writing. I'd always been painting. I'd always been doing design work.
I saw some of your paintings. They're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I do some art too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, the abstract. Yeah. I'm just, like, sometimes I'm just like so mad. I'm like,
It's
and
a
that's
good
the art,
release.
It's
like, a good release.
I have one painting. I call it chaos because it's just like all kinds of colors.
Yeah.
And I was so mad that day. I was just like, this stupid, just
I get
jumping out of your mind.
Yeah.
And so I get it, So that's why I was like, when I saw the painting, some of the paintings that you were doing, I was just like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
But let's talk about your books.
Okay.
Because those are so amazing.
Okay, so.
How did you come up with all these crazy ideas?
Right, so that's the question. So.
I shouldn't say crazy, because they always.
No, they're crazy.
Okay, crazy.
There's crazy stuff in there where I'll go back and read and be like,
is that me that wrote that?
Yeah, should that be in there? I don't know. So so with the books, basically I decided one day from a little bit of a push from one of my uncles to write, and I said, all right, well, let me just see if I can do it.
Yeah.
Because to write a full book seems like a very daunting experience.
Yeah.
Or endeavor, because it's 350 to 500 pages.
That's a lot of freaking pages.
That's a lot of words. That's like 120,000 words. I know, and that doesn't even count all the edits and everything else. So it's a project, and so I just wanted to see if I could do it. And the initial idea was going to be, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to spend all this time doing this, I might as well write something that I like a story that I would want to read. I'll write that. And so I started writing along, and the first book that I wrote was horrible. It was terrible. So many rookie mistakes, and it just didn't make any sense, and plot holes everywhere. So I scrapped it. I wrote a different first book. Realized there was way too many characters, and again, it was all sprang out of nowhere. So I scratched that. Third book, I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. But then I realized it was the exact same story of a book series that I was reading at the time, and his book was so much better than my book, so scrapped it again.
Okay.
Fourth book is the book that we have. And
so which one is the first of the series?
so it's called The Chaos Gate, and that starts off with introducing the characters and who they are, what they're about, and what their agendas are.
Now, how do you come up with the characters and and the names? Because some of the names are so crazy, and I'm like, where did you get that name from?
So yeah, no, the names are a problem, and a lot of people that have read the books are like, I can't even pronounce some of these names.
Which is kind of cool, because I mean, it's a fantasy fiction, heroic type of thing. So it's like you gotta have something that you can even say it.
Right, and so I didn't really want to have if you think of like Game of Thrones, right? So it's based on medieval times, and like the great big antagonists are these dragons, right? Well, I don't have dragons, but I have like devils and demons. So I can't really name a demon Bob. I mean, that doesn't really work. No. So I have to kind of figure out, all right, well, what would be a regular name in their world?
Yeah.
And then I just started to kind of put things together and do research online and see, in mythologies and religions, what kind of names were there. And a lot of those names are two different names spliced together. And if you were to break them down, they would have the meaning of who that character is.
Oh, ding!
Yeah.
Just when because I was just like, where do you get all this? And now that you're saying, okay, with these two characters from the mythology and it come together, so that makes sense.
So that's sort of the naming conventions. That's how that happens. And then as far as where the characters come from, I really just thought, okay, if this was a real world type of atmosphere or environment, that's a better word, and someone wants to do something and someone wants to oppose them. Okay, well, what's important to this person starting here, and what's important to this person starting here, so that when they collide, it's a much bigger conflict. So all of this is all conflicts that go back and forth with each other based on who they are and what their agendas are. And so that's how the characters sort of start to form. So how I'm going to make you a character, and we'll have to see.
That's your homework.
Yeah, right. We'll have to see. Yeah.
Okay, so we have here the Hero Saga.
Okay, so with this one here, this is actually the first 3 books in the series plus a little novella. Okay, so that's what this is.
Okay, so we have a soap opera. No.
Yeah.
No.
And then these books here, these are all the individual books.
Siri, hold that one.
Yeah, so this is book 1.
I think this is such a cool thing.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
I think, when I saw her, I was just like, dang, she's a badass.
So here's the funny thing about these characters. So these are the 2 main protagonists.
Okay.
All right, so he's the ever hero. She is a witch.
See, maybe that's why I was attracted to her.
I gotta tell you, everyone loves her.
I was just like, dang, she's sexy and pretty.
Yeah, and
even if she's a bitch, I don't care.
Well, she has a really interesting arc because she's like she's a witch with an identity crisis. So she has all this power, and she's not quite sure if she should use it for good or for evil, right? And so during the course of all of these books, we see her trying to figure out who she is, because she makes some horrible decisions. They all do.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they all do. Yeah.
Okay, so then we have, let's see.
Okay. All right, so then the next book in the series is The Faux Wars.
Okay, so tell us a little, because she's back.
Yeah, she's in all of them.
She's back.
She's not in this one because on the 5th book of the series, which I'm in the process of writing, will be just her on the cover. because she goes through some pretty monumental
So she
changes.
became famous.
Yes. Well, you know what? You have no idea how famous she became because that's a great way to say it. Yeah, infamous perhaps.
I know, between yes or no, I don't know what I want. Should I kill him? Should I love him?
Exactly. Well, that's kind of what it is.
Really?
That's kind of what it is.
So I love this.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, she was my inspiration for my look today.
Oh, good.
Besides, I mean, she has long hair.
Yeah, she's a badass.
But I
it
mean, I
boils
have
down to.
ponytails, but I thought, because ponytails can be kind of like sweet but evil.
Yeah, no, you're in the next series. Absolutely, the next series.
Wow, this is so amazing. So, okay, so we have
The Four Wars,
yeah.
and then the third book is The Divine Fist. And these three books, The Chaos Gate, The Four Wars, and The Divine Fist, that's the first real story arc.
Okay.
So beginning to end. Then this one, The Forgotten Gods, it takes place 6 years later in the timeline of this world.
On the timeline of the three.
Yeah, okay. So it's like those three happen within like a 6-month period, and then 6 years later, we find our hero again and what's happened to him after everything that happens in the conclusion of this book. And then there'll be, more that go on.
Like they say, we are as artists have to have we are like a different species.
Yeah.
But you're like a freaking totally different one. Because to come up with I mean, this is a series, you guys, a series of books.
Yeah.
And not to come up with only one, but 5.
So let me tell you the story about that. Okay, so
tell me this story.
So I wrote the first book, The Chaos Gate, and I have a really great friend. His name is Gene Malika, and he and I went to RISD together, Rhode Island School of Design, where I went to art school. And he is the one that did these books. He and his business partner Sasha. And I called him up and I said, "Hey, Gene, I'm gonna make a book. Actually, I pretty much have it done, and I would love for you to do the cover." And he said, "Okay, how many books do you have?" And I said, "Well, just the one." And he said, "No, you can't do that." And I said,
"No,
you don't want to you don't want to do it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "No." He's like, "No. I'd love to work with you, but you can't just do one book. You have to do a series." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, let me just ask you, do you want to make any money at all? Because you don't make much money with these. Each individual book that I sell, I make a couple of bucks." So he said, you can't just do one book. You have to do a series, because then if someone buys the first book, chances are, if they like it, they'll buy the other ones. And so then that's where you start to make a little bit of profit, because it costs a lot to do the covers and everything else. And so he said, you have to do at least 3. I was like, "Well, I don't really have 3. I have one book." He said, "Well, you got to make 3." I said,
"Suck it up."
he kind of said that. He's like, "Well, you decide, but if you're going to work with me, you have to have 3."
Yeah.
And I said, "All right." And so then I had to go back into the first story, and I had to extrapolate all of those arcs that were coming together in the first book. I needed to expand them over another 2 books. And so then I just thought, okay, you know what? I'm just going to let this world open up and see where it goes.
It's so awesome that you're talking about this, because I want people to know that this is a business.
Yeah.
This is not just, oh yeah, I want to write. You have to think about like a business person, and it's so awesome that you're talking about this. Can you tell us a little bit about how if let's say somebody, I don't know, somewhere is thinking about reading a book,
Right.
but they have no money. How can they start, or how can they be able to do, what you're doing?
Okay, that's a great question. So first off, anyone can do this. You just have to set time aside to write. Okay, and so there's a saying, anyone can master anything. It just takes 10,000 hours to do it, right? Okay, 10,000 hours.
When I heard that in acting school, I was like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, but it's true.
But it was, it sunk in my head. I was just like, it's going to take me 10,000 hours for me to get where I need to be?
Right, so you better get started. So what
Yeah.
what I do is every morning I wake up really early, like 4:30. Go stumble to the kitchen, make some coffee, and then I get to it, and I write for a few hours, and then I have another job that I do to make sure that there's income coming in, right? So so you have to set time aside to write. That's the first and foremost. Then
And you have to write every day?
Every day.
Okay.
Because you won't learn the craft, because it is a craft. It's just like everything. I mean, anyone can cry, but it takes a really great actor or actress to learn how to cry and have it be believable, right? That takes practice.
Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
craft, right? So you get that. So once you have something made, then you have to let people know that it exists. And so that's the business part. And I was talking to a musician earlier, and we were talking about audiences. And you have to know your audience, okay? If you just want to write anything that you want to write for yourself, that's great. Just make a journal and have that close it up at night and
Cry about it.
cry about But if you want to expose your vision to other people, you have to go beyond friends and family. So you have to find a vehicle to do that. So like we were talking about a little bit earlier, I use a lot of social media now to just let people know that I exist and that I write books. Okay, and really that's just the message. I'm here, I write books, here are the books. If you like this type of book, follow me.
If not,
right.
out of here.
Right. and so it over time you start to build an audience, which is really important, because when you have platforms like Facebook, or Instagram, or anything where a lot of people can follow you for whatever reason, that doesn't mean it's an audience.
No.
It doesn't really even mean that they're following you, because how many images can they really see every day if they're following 20,000 people? How many images can they see every day? Are they going to see yours in all of that barrage of imagery? No.
Probably not. Yeah.
No, they're not. And so they're not really an audience. And so what becomes important is understanding how to locate your audience. And that takes a lot of time as well. And it's little steps at a time to bring people in that really like what you do. And you create super fans. And then they start to tell people about your work and about what you're doing. Like for instance, I'll be very honest with you. I was stoked when you called and said, "Hey, can I be on your show?" Yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna do everything I can.
I follow you because I always like your stuff.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And the same. But I was thinking, I'm gonna do whatever I can to promote this stuff.
Totally.
So I already have videos of me, before I came in. I took one just now about here's this set. I'll post that, and then every time you put something up, I'll make sure that I try to latch onto it and expose it to other people that would like that sort of thing.
And see, and this is this platform, to let people just express themselves and to let other people know, hey, this is what I do. Yeah. Follow me. Yeah. Because we are a lot of geeks out there. Yeah. Look at me, I'm dressed like one. And I just because I love that world, the fantasy world that is beyond reach, that you just want to go fly, and I don't know. I'm such a geeky person. A lot of people don't know, but I'm so nerdy,
But you know what? I mean, life is so hard as it is.
I know.
And you need an escape, and you need to find a place where you can just, have all the stuff that you secretly love,
right?
Be in front of you and just to kind of exist in that space for a while.
I know, like for me, this is like a dress up, because I was just like, you know what? Every show that I do, I want to be a completely different person. Depends on who is going to be on my show. That's who I want to.
I love it.
That's the character that I want to be. Yeah. Because I'm just so, it's like, I mean, you see me at home. I'm in pajamas, no makeup, and a ponytail.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get it.
That's me. That's Norma.
I get it.
But then I go on public, and and I'm all dressed up, and that's for me to express myself, but in reality, I'm so normal. Like so boring. So boring.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, but okay. You can't do this, and you can't do all of this and be boring.
No, literally. I mean, if you were to come to my house, I'd probably be in like a shorts and a tank top.
Yeah, well, okay, fair enough.
Because I usually work out a lot too, so I'm getting into that too.
Good.
Because the older you get, and you have to maintain yourself.
Oh, I know,
It's like everything is sagging. And But anyways, so what was the pivotal point for you, to say, okay, this one is going to be this person and this other person. I mean, do you? Well,
okay.
Let me rephrase it. Do you put yourself on their shoes?
Okay, all right. This has a lot of different answers. All right. So first off, I even made a little video about this. A lot of people ask me, "Hey, am I one of those characters in your books? And if so,
why am?"
Is it the villain? It's always the villain, and I often just think, yeah.
So you do write about other people
all the time. So what I do is, as I'm writing, this is honest to God what happens. As I'm building the character through the chapters and I'm getting to know who they are, they start to form a voice.
Yeah.
Literally, a voice in the back of my head will start to yammer.
Do you talk to yourself?
Yeah. They talk, and we all talk, and eventually they don't want me talking anymore, so they just talk.
Are you going to become like one of those bipolar?
Become?
Or you are?
Wow. But
the multi, how do you call it?
Yeah, schizophrenic?
No. Like you have different personalities?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Schizophrenic.
No.
Multiple personality?
Multiple personality, yeah.
Okay, so yes, that is exactly what happens, and like I'll be driving down the road, and all of a sudden
you're dreaming of
no, I'm not kidding, and they'll start to talk, and I'll so I'll be thinking about a scene, right, and I'm like, okay, these two characters come together in this scene, and I'm looking at it from all these different points of view. And then they just start talking as I'm sort of looking for the right angle or the right place to start the scene. And as they talk, their voices start to become louder and louder, and more defined as to who they are in the story. And I just let them go. And all of a sudden, I don't have much say in how they act anymore, because I'm just following what they would do naturally. Which I think is what makes for good characters. Yeah. Because they become believable. Yeah. Because people are like, oh, that's not a contrived thing, because that character did this in chapter 1, so if this happens in chapter 5, they're going to act in a similar way, and if they don't, it's a problem. But if they do, it carries on that suspension of disbelief enough so that people are like, oh yeah, keep going.
Wow, that's always so. You think that you can talk to someone that this can become a reality on big TV or big screen?
So
I think this will be awesome on the big screen.
I've had a few people approach me. One is a good friend of mine that was connected to some very blockbuster type movies. And another one was just someone that came across my books and thought exactly what you just thought. It's like, wow, this would be a great series. Something for Netflix or
well,
Amazon.
it's just kind of like Lord of the Rings,
right?
That type of.
So here's the reality of that, which doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means that is a very, very long process, because okay, so I have 3 books or 4 books really, and there'll be more. So a screenplay needs to be written. Okay, so that's a whole different thing. I'm not the guy to write a screenplay, because it's a different skill set. So then you have to hire someone to do that, and then you have to make sure that they get everything correct and right. But then it has to go into finding someone to back it, finding producers and a director to jump onto it, and it builds and builds and builds, and everyone wants that here. This is Hollywood, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So
let's give a shout out to a call to everybody that is watching.
yes.
Hey, Sony, Paramount Pictures.
Yeah. It's available.
It's available.
No options yet.
That's right, because I think this will be amazing
Thank
to
you.
have it as like a 3 different. I mean, each book should be a movie.
Yeah, or it could be if we went into like Netflix, for instance, right? Each book could be an episode, could be a season.
Exactly.
Right, and so there's a lot of material in
So
all of these.
let me stand up.
Okay.
So I have this 2. Which one is the first?
Okay, this is the first
Okay,
one.
this is the first one.
And then
And
this
then
one.
this
is the
one.
second, and then this is.
And then this one. And then we have the.
So this one is just really a compilation of these 3 books.
Okay.
Yeah. So here you go.
So. Over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have these 4 books plus the Hero Saga.
Yeah.
That it can be done as a movie, each book, and I think it'll be just amazing.
Yeah, it could be great.
So let's call out people and see if anybody can are watching us out there. Have someone that knows someone that knows someone.
That's how
it works.
That's how it happens.
And so because then I think this will be just amazing to have it on on the big screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whether it's Amazon, Netflix,
Right.
who cares?
Yeah, no, it doesn't
just
matter to me.
something out there.
Yeah,
Because and to have an American guy, doing this,
Yeah.
because all the other ones are not even from the United States.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring that up because it kind of gets back to the audience part, right? So I purposefully added an Asian identity.
Well, you need a
into this.
Latina.
Well, she's not white.
No, she's not.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
So, I tried, and as you read through the story, you'll see that there's a lot of different nationalities that are represented because I was thinking, all right, you know what? Who's going to want to read this, and how are they going to identify with the characters?
Yeah.
So I can't do it sort of like the traditional way where everyone is Caucasian. That doesn't make sense because that's not how the world is.
Exactly.
Right? And
Especially here in LA,
Right,
we're a
yeah.
melting pot.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, something that you want to tell your fans, because I know you have a big audience out there. A lot of fans that are waiting for you to come up with the other book or something on screen, because I'm pretty sure. Hey, you guys, back us out. Share this video, put it out there. Make it viral so Jeff can be able to make this happen.
Yeah, I want Oprah. That would be the next from LA Spectacular to Oprah.
Hey, maybe I can be the next Oprah.
Yeah,
right?
We'll get you there too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she discovered me.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So no, I mean seriously, this is what I love. Doing. Sharing. With everybody out there.
So the best thing that I could say isn't really a promo for the books so much as you asked me before if I'm a character or if I drew for myself from the characters that are in here, and I did, absolutely I did. And one of the things that I wish I had more of when I was a young boy and going up through teenage years and so forth was a better understanding of courage. And so what I mean by that is, as you're going through life, all these things that are unfamiliar to you become fearful things. And geez, I just think I could have accomplished so much more if I had let that fear go aside and just went after what I wanted. I mean, why is it that I'm in my 50s writing books when I should have been doing it in my 20s?
But you know what? Time is everything.
Yeah, timing, yeah.
Maybe back then you weren't ready.
But see, the thing is...
You were?
I knew I wanted to be an artist, and I knew I wanted to be creative, and I have a love for painting, and now I have a love for writing, but it's all part of the same melting pot of creativity. And I always just thought, no, I had this other idea of what success was. And it had to do with more of like a traditional sense of success, because you know this. There's no ladder to climb when you're a creative soul. You have to kind of figure every little bit out and pounce on opportunities or create your own, like what you're doing here. And so that takes courage. So kudos to you as well for putting all of this together. It's amazing. It's amazing what you're doing. And that's the message of these books, is to go get that courage, dig deep. You have it in you, and you should just go and pursue what your dreams are. Pursue your passion. Go get it.
Go do it, you guys.
Yeah, go
do it. Do it. Ding, ding, ding. So anything else you want to talk about? I'm so in love with these books, and I'm so in love with all this that, I hope that this show can reach somebody.
I hope so too.
And, make it to the big screen.
Yeah. So the only thing I would really say is, if you're interested in the books, they're on Amazon. So the Hero Saga, you can type that in as a search, and this will come up, and that'll get you to all the other books.
Yeah.
Or you can go to my website, which is Hero Productions with an S,
Which is your production.
Which is my production company, and so that's for whether it's this book series, other book series, if we were to take it into movies or other videos, whatever, any of that, it all goes under the Hero Productions umbrella.
Okay. Well, you gave us so much hope and so much inspiration that I am so geeky out about this. But thank you so much for watching, you guys. Thank you so much for coming. And so I'll see you next time. I'm your host, Norma Vocal, and love you guys.
Take care.
Bye.